Hey, what's going on, traders and investors? Todd Gordon here of Inside Edge Capital. Hope you're well. Busy day. Market's pressing upper end of recent resistance levels. That's kind of the pivot point, I think, between the bull and bear market, recession on, recession off. We put a new position on today. It's kind of related to a big earnings report that just came out after the bell. Google. I put a little presentation together for you, and I'll take you through it here. So, all good, super busy day. Let's hit it here. All right, number one, you saw the disclosures, and we'll hit it. Okay, so before we kind of get into this, normally I'd have my my partner in crime, Kyle, here, but we have a big announcement. He called in sick from work today, can you believe it, to welcome his new baby girl in, Alice Ruth Wasson. Welcome to the Girl Dad Club, Kyle. As I was saying, you've got now 2 women in your house. You've got a boss like me. Dude, you're in trouble. Just kidding. Baby's great, healthy. Mom and dad are happy. Couldn't be any more delighted for these two. First baby. So God bless you guys. I love it. Love it. Love it. So we'll see Kyle when he comes back. We're going to be holding the fort down here for now. You know, and as baby Alice was born on a breakout day here, potentially a breakout day, pretty interesting. So the stock that we're going to look at is Uber. And we have been watching the stock consolidate in the volatility that we've seen, particularly led by the growth trade. We'll look at the technicals of it. I'm going to show you the fundamentals first. I'll show you the position we're in. I'll show you, again, why I think Google, that just reported, is going to have an impact on Uber when it reports on May, I think it's the 2nd. I have it written down here somewhere. I think it's May 2nd. Okay, so you know, first thing we're going to see is here's the monthly of Uber, which has been in quite a bit of consolidation for 2024 and now even into 25 with the big growth trade sell-off that we saw in April, which is very similar to what we saw in the big August spike, which was a big move down in U.S. yields as well as the yen carry trade. But you can see now we're pressing the upper end of resistance, and I think Uber is right on the cusp of becoming a leader in AI. Specifically with autonomous vehicles, ride sharing. They've been knocking on that door for a while. And I think if you look at combination of the technicals and fundamentals, maybe we should pay a little bit more attention to this company. So first thing we're going to do is just look at the quarterly earnings on Uber. If you look at the percent growth, so if you take a look at Q1 of 2024, they lost 32 cents, terrible quarter. But then in Q2 of 24 made 47 cents, 154% growth, 1,120% growth, 383. And then now we're coming up on Q1 earnings, which is looking for 49 cents, which is a drop, but we can see that it would be a 252% increase compared to that really miserable Q1 of 24. And then looking to go up to 56.62, and then you can see top line revenues, pretty consistent grower, 15, 20, 20%, 14, 15. But then, I'll get my cursor out of here. If you look at the earnings year over year, in 2023, they turned a profit, 87 cents for the year, 456 for the year, which is 422% growth. 2025 is not looking to be a great year for them, but again, we're looking at earnings at 241 as they invest, in CapEx as they, continue to build out the, the hope of the future. Maybe we'll have some earnings surprises over the next 4 quarters, but then you can see we're looking to grow in 2026, which, if you can believe, is only 8 months away. So it would be a 39% year-over-year growth. Okay. So, and over here, if you look at this too, I know my fat head's in the way of some of these. Oh, and by the way, my last YouTube video, some guy said not once but twice I was too GQ or good looking to know what I was talking about in the market. So thanks. I got a haircut yesterday, so hopefully I look better for you, but thank you. Anyways, so if you look at EPS, so we're looking at 49 cents expecting next quarter. The latest reported was 321. The growth, as I mentioned, was 383%. The surprise last quarter was 583%. EPS $1.20, which was 1,120% growth year over year of the same quarter. But the surprise was 216. And then the surprise 3 quarters ago was 46. So they surprised about 46%, 216%, 583%. So obviously this company has a history of surprising. That's on the bottom line, then top line as well. Sales growth as well. I should have surprise in there. Oh, it's down off the screen, but that's okay. And then a few of the proprietary quotes. So this is Deep View over here. Their comp ratings, 100's the highest. The 1 month comp rating is 89, 3 month comp rating is 97, 6 months 94, 12 month 97, relative strength and absolute strength, all high numbers. And then I've also included IBD over here as well. Their comp rating is 92 on Uber, pretty good EPS rating of 82, SMR, which is a sales margin or ratio, is an A. Accumulation distribution is only a C+, and I think when we get into the technicals, you'll see that traditionally institutions are going to be accumulating quietly within this triangle consolidation. We'll put the Elliott behind it, but you can see there's certainly been an uptick in volume here within this range. Even despite the sell-off here, there's certainly been an increase in the moving average of volume. So I do think the stock is under appreciation. Okay. Okay, and then the other thing I got to look at, I didn't have time to do this yet, but I got to look into that ROE of 60%. That's huge. And again, 31 times forward earnings, that's not egregious. So, let me just do this quick. Is that off of 2025 earnings? So if the stock's trading 78.11 divided by 2.41, yeah, that's 32 times forward earnings. And then if we go up to, that's going to be considerably higher in 2026, but 32 times forward earnings for a company that could do what they're intending to do, it's not egregiously valued. Okay, I had to throw this in here. Did you guys ever see the old movie Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger? The movie was so ahead of its time. Hold on, I'll give you 20 seconds. I think he swears in here.
Oh, any minute, just go.
Shit. I'm not familiar with that address. Would you please repeat?
And then he pulls them out. I don't remember what happened. This was a good movie, though. All right. So autonomous driving. So how does it relate to Google? Well, Google just reported earnings tonight, and the stock was bid. They beat EPS. They beat sales, so 281 on the bottom line, estimated 201 sales, 90.32 on expectations of 88.87, increasing margins. Pretty impressive move from a stock that's really been written off, and especially, we don't know the full impact what OpenAI and ChatGPT is going to have on Google. I, for one, have completely gone over to ChatGPT. I use it all the time. But I'm interested for purposes of this trade that we're talking about, and it's more of an investment, looking at the autonomous driving. Now, we know Google partnered with Google. Their autonomous driving program was named Waymo. Waymo was partnered with Uber. And on the conference call tonight, this is a screenshot. This is from Quarter. Blah, blah, blah. Finally, Waymo's now safely serving over 250,000 paid passenger trips each week. That's up 5x from a year ago. This quarter, Waymo opened up paid service in Silicon Valley. Through a partnership with Uber, we expanded in Austin and are preparing for our public launch in Atlanta next summer. DC, future ride-hailing city going live in 2026. In Miami, 2 important capabilities for riders, airport access and freeway driving, blah, blah, blah. And then there was a follow-up question. Mark Mahaney asked Sundar, the CEO of Google, he asked him about Waymo, and he said, wow, I'm kind of excited. This is the first follow-up question I've got about Waymo, and I'm very encouraged from what they've seen with Uber. This is a screenshot from a Fortune article, how Waymo outlasted the competition, made robo-taxis a real business. So, we'll see between, this and Tesla. I think the race is on. And, I think also, I listened to as much of the Tesla conference call as I, or the Google conference calls I can to hear about Waymo. I'm going to dive into it later on. But I'm thinking back to the Tesla conference call where Elon was pounding the table on autonomous driving, and this is the presentation deck. We believe that our approach to autonomy, vision-only architecture, and then neural networks trained on billions of examples of real-world data will result in scalable and safe deployment across blah, 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 validated with the launch of full self-driving in China, without access to country-specific training, Model 3, Model Y Cybertruck now drive autonomously without human supervision, production line, blah, blah, blah. We remain on track for pilot launch of robo-taxi in also by June and builds of Optimus on our Fremont pilot production 25. Okay, and you just look at the full self-driving miles on V12 and beyond, and then so this was V11, this is V12. They're at 3.75 billion autonomous miles driven, right? So. The other thing, and I've said this before on air on CNBC, a major benefit of our software-defined products is continual improvement functionality over-the-air updates. I can't help but think, and I was on an interview with Gene Munster, very popular tech analyst, was like, how is Elon not going to tie Starlink into the over-the-air updates for the autonomous driving? Like, that's going to be game over for him when he can deploy, because the 5G towers have been, I think, a major disappointment. The span and the reach and the range is terrible. Like, when he ties those two together, he wins autonomous driving. So, Tesla, I think, is going to be the one in the longer term, but in the near term, let's see what Google and Waymo can do, and specifically Uber. And, Uber is that's not their only thing in the pipeline. Waymo, there's certainly other avenues they can go down, but just looking at the race between the two big hyperscalers, Tesla and Alphabet, to see who may win, and I think Uber may be a beneficiary on it. So, blah, blah, blah. He expects autonomous driving will affect the bottom line of the company and start to be fundamental by the second half of 2026. Predict there'll be millions of Teslas fully autonomously in the second half of the year. So he's going after it. Okay. So, as I said, Uber, we added to the position. We added the position today. I think, I'll do a little bit more fundamentals, but let's look at the technicals quickly here. This is from early 22. I think it's green 1-2, big green wave 3 that breaks down in 5 smaller waves. And then the sideways consolidation, A, B, C, D, E. Really, it's been sideways since the beginning of 24. So, we're a year inside this consolidation. And what's the catalyst to push us out? Whether it's the recovery of the growth trade, as so many were calling the death of the growth trade, as the recession's coming with the tariffs, that have just absolutely clocked us over the head. We'll see what it may be, but resistance is broken just above 80, above 82. And a few things that popped out for me from the last conference call, which was Q4 earnings. Acceleration of growth bookings, 20% increase on a constant currency basis. Their Uber One membership increased. Adjusted EBITDA growing 60% year on year. I clipped that one for you. EBITDA percent change right here for 2024, 60%. You look at the growth in Uber for EBITDA, 47, 7, 69, 321. How you doing? 136, 60, and then the company becomes mature and only grows EBITDA 30 to 27%, with $8.5 billion in EBITDA just over the next year or two, and that certainly can be revised up. Autonomous vehicle strategy. Uber is positioning itself as a key partner in the AV market, emphasizing its investments in fleet supply and partnership with AV players, which could enhance future growth. Okay, fine. Now, the other thing is negatives. Foreign exchange headlines. And this is one thing that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about yet, is so many CEOs and CFOs cite the strength of the dollar. Adverse currency moves is the reason why they're missing earnings. Well, the complete opposite happened this quarter. The dollar dropped right from the first week of January straight down. So, when the dollar's weak with multinationals, repatriating earnings back to the States, that's going to be more earnings coming back to the U.S. So that's going to be a tailwind, and that's one of the things Earnings Hub here pulled out of the call is FX headwinds. Okay, so that's that. resistance, I mean, we should be able to move in the 100 mark. And if you get through 100 and 105, then, we'll see how high wave 5 go. And, I'm not super tied to the wave count here. Just a pretty simple observation. So we put the trade on just today. And what I've been doing is I've been sharing it on this new platform I'm using that's awesome. It's Savvy Trader. So what I'm doing is this is one of the sleeves. It was one of the models in my wealth management business inside Edge Capital. It's called Active Opps. I'm trading a live account. We just launched it like last week, and I'm just updating the trade so you can actually sign up with Savvy Trader. It's not expensive. You get a push notification, you get an SMS notification, you get an app. You can see the exact breakdown and be notified when I make a trade. And Active Opps, that again is I'm considering it sort of my speedboat model at Inside Edge. It's meant to generate alpha in uptrending markets, and then I'm going to use it to hedge and put option positions on to take advantage of downside moves, but then hedge our investors' longer term portfolios in our other models. So it's kind of the speedboat model. I'm going to be updating it in Savvy Trader. So kind of exciting. I don't really know if it's been done before. It's live now. We've got investor capital coming in, and I'm just updating the real position. So that's the link right there. All right. I think that's going to be it. I hope that helps, guys. Oh, yeah, we have a new website coming out at Inside Edge. We've been working hard on it. Have some fun video and information on that. Be on the lookout for it. That's going to be it. All the best to Kyle and Kat and baby Alice. Hope you guys get some rest. Take your time coming home. And I can't wait to see what Friday brings here as we're trying to break up through resistance in 5,500 in the S&P. All right, guys, we're going to leave it there. All the best. Talk to you soon.